Okay, so I'm wearing 3D glasses, so that means I just got done seeing Chronicles of Narnia, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, as well as I got to see it in 3D. This is the third out of the, I think, 7 Narnia books. And essentially, if you didn't see the previous ones, you're kind of going to need to know two things. The second movie was primarily about Prince Caspian and his rise to power through the help of the children, essentially helping him overthrow his evil relative to help him become the King of Narnia. The first one was about the children, of course, discovering Narnia and defeating the Ice Queen. You'll notice the Ice Queen is the one that Edmund always sees in the Green Mist. I mentioned the Green Mist. Essentially, since the kids have been gone, Prince Caspian, who's now King Caspian, has essentially gotten back most of the lands of Narnia. However, the 7 lords were sent out to essentially destroy a bizarre green mist, which essentially devours people, and it's kind of the source of all evil on essentially the land of Narnia. So it's them trying to figure out how to make it to that area as well as defeat it. They're told they have to essentially get the 7 golden swords. So 7 lords, 7 swords. So they have to get those, put those onto Aslan's table, so that way then they can begin to shift the balance away from evil back to the forces of good, so that way evil can be vanquished. What does the Green Mist essentially do? It kind of fulfills your darkest wishes. They do have a moment that is very reminiscent of the first Ghostbusters, where it's don't think about your worst fear and it won't come true. Of course, it forces them to think about their worst fear, which then leads to a very well done battle against the sea serpent. Now, of course, this one takes place primarily on boats. So this will be kind of like the Pirates of the Caribbean version of the Chronicles of Narnia. And at the same time, too, 2 of the principal characters, the older characters, that would be, I think, Peter and Susan, really don't appear in this one. Because what they used to happen during the books is as a character got too old, they would normally be replaced with a younger character. So you better get used to their cousin Eustace, who starts out in the beginning as a very stereotypical, I'd say, high-strung C-type personality. So this person is essentially entirely analytical. So there's a lot of decent comedic moments when you take somebody who's super analytical and super scientific and put them into a fantasy realm. Special effects, are done fairly well. They do a really good job on this. This does have that nice fantasy feel to it, where the last Harry Potter movie definitely set in the real world. This one, you can tell, is obviously set in a more fantasy environment. So that makes it work fairly well. It's lighthearted. This is one you can take your children to go see. Like, the woman in front of us actually breastfed during the movie. So you can take your children that young if you don't mind breastfeeding in public. It appears this one was actually shot in 3D, because the 3D effects are primarily the foreground, midground, background. So that works out fairly well. Could you probably see it in 2D and not really lose that much? Yeah. Some of the earlier 3D effects, when they're in the real world, you could tell they're just really kind of pushing to get more of that 3D effect. I really don't think you need to have somebody riding a bicycle at an angle and have it be in 3D. But if you enjoyed the first one, this one's pretty good. I wasn't that big of a fan of the second one. I think the second one tried to get way too much in. This one, the third one, however, does not really follow the book. It takes elements from the 4th book to try to move the plot along better. Because initially the plot would have been, okay, there's bizarre green mist, well, how do they encounter the green mist? They kind of accidentally encounter it. Where in the movie, they take slave traders, which is kind of a part that has to do with 4, and then work that in to help move the plot from the initial starting point into the green mist, and then throw in a couple other characters and kind of tie it together a little better at the end. And that is the 3rd Chronicles of Narnia movie.